It's a Jeep thing, right? Looks like a Jeep. Looks like a JK, right? Well, you're wrong. This is Anarchy Off-Road Utah's new to us off-road recovery vehicle. One of the few that we have. So we've already taken the doors and the hood and everything off, so we can kind of show you a breakdown of what this thing is and how it came about. So first off, we're going to talk about what it is, where it came from, and how it was built. So what this actually is this is a 1989 Chevy Blazer. It is 114-inch wheelbase. So what the top is this is just a kit car. A gentleman by the name of Richard Tolbert out of Salt Lake City, Utah, worked for a company called Tatonka Products. Anyway, so from about 1993 to 1999, you could buy these kit cars. You could buy them completed by him, built however you wanted. You could just buy the kit itself. This is all fiberglass body, fiberglass fenders, fiberglass hood. It's all customly done. And you could get the kit for right around $5,000 or $6,000 back then. The coolest thing about this thing is not only did they have this kit, they had a bummer, which was a suburban-based platform, full fiberglass body. And then it also had a stunt, and then they had a runt, which is what this vehicle is a runt, and then they also had a grunt. And a grunt and a runt both could be based off of a Blazer frame or a S10 frame, and these things you go from mild to wild. My business partner Darren, wish he could be here to be a part of it. He's actually owned like 3 or 4 of these things. We actually know the gentleman that has them now. He still wills them, he still loves them, he still swears by them. My business partner Darren is also a super good friend with Richard Tolbert, which is pretty cool. I was hoping to get some insight from him. Didn't get a chance to reach out before we got an opportunity to make this video, or the time that freed up to make the video, I should say. So super cool that they all came as in kit cars. So when you find these for sale, realistically, they're anywhere between, I would say, $10,000 and $25,000. And when you find them, it could be from mild to wild. So it could be some scabbed together horrible project that some guy had and was just trying to do it himself. Or it could be somebody that did it themselves that did a phenomenal job. Or it could be somebody like Richard Tolbert that did it for a customer that was exactly what they wanted. This one, in this particular Runt's case, this build, I would say there are some things that are super cool and was a great idea, and other things fell shy for me, like they had a horrible welder. They did some goofy things with the steering that I don't like, but seriously, all in all, for what we paid for it, what our plans are for it, super killer. You can remove all these fenders with just a simple couple bolts. The fenders come off, so you can go get in some narrow trails and not worry about knocking the fiberglass fenders off. So like I said, the only thing that makes this thing any different than any other runt basically out there, or a Chevy Blazer per se, is this one has a 14 bolt in the rear, and it has a high pinion 44 in the front with the 8-lug outers. Now, it is still on leaf springs. It does not have a lift kit. It does not have anything that is from stock position of a Chevy Blazer. Now, this one, so it's got the factory TBI 350. It has the factory 7R4 transmission. It's got the factory 205 T-case. Nothing changes there. The cool thing about this rear end is somebody has put a Yukon Duragrip in it, so it's got a really nice setup for a limited slip. And in the front, they have done an ARB air locker. It is 410 gears, front and rear, on 37s. And it seems very happy on the highway. It seems pretty happy off-road. for what our plans are for it. I personally would like quite a bit lower gear because we don't plan on driving this thing to Denver. Another cool thing about what this is, and what the cool part about it using a platform that already exists with the frame and everything, is the drivability and the capability. So driving this thing down the highway, dude, it feels really good. It doesn't wander, it steers correctly, it doesn't have any wobble or wander. It seriously drives like a Jeep. It feels like a JK. The wheelbase is very familiar with the low slung weight, with the way that they designed the kit car to go onto the frame. This was, I mean, and you got to keep in mind, I'm comparing this to a JK, and a JK didn't come out till 2005, 4, somewhere around there, 6. Anyway, so this is from 1993. So this platform, everything about this thing existed pre-JK. So if you're thinking to yourself back then, you know, with the two-door Jeep, it was super hard, back seats hard with the family. I have a family, a big family, so a four-door has to work for us, or nobody gets to go, or some have to stay home, or we got to take multiple vehicles. So the opportunity to have a full back seat and, you know, heat and AC. I mean, this thing has heated seats. This thing, I mean, it's got the factory OBD port right here. So if it has any issues, everything functions and works like any other car. This is actually licensed and titled as a 1993 custom built vehicle. I can't remember what, it's got some weird digits there. But anyway, so it can still be driven on any highway, any road, any tie. We'll take the next few minutes and we'll kind of just show you some videos of around the car, what's great, what's bad, what issues we've found with it so far, and what we plan to do moving forward. So on the Runt, I said here's our high pinion Dana 44, and then we've just got the factory TBI 350 that comes in the Chevy Blazer. And it still has AC, it still has everything. This whole kit would come together and bolt together basically, and just use your factory components. Over the years, you know, some people have done some great things to this one. It has a really nice aftermarket radiator. It's got some headers on it. It has a mile marker winch, which, you know, them have been out of date for a minute. Now they've done some goofy things with the bumper, and we do plan to change all that and do some different lighting with the whole thing, update the lighting. It's got some old school side lights on the side here. I mean, it's cool. It's just very, very dated. We decided to wrap them in what is my favorite tire, which is the Super Swamper TSL SX2. I've never found a better price and better bang for my buck for an off-road tire that does well in the rocks, well in the snow, and well in the mud. Going on the inside, some of the cool features about this thing is it's got custom seats. Someone's had a Runt put in them, and you know, they're very comfortable. It feels very at home. It's got the full top that came in the Blazer still here. Everything still functions from your miles per gallon, everything like that. And the dash is probably one of my favorite parts. Now with the dash, it's full fiberglass. It's got your defrost vents in the top. It's got your front heat. It's got your floor shifter that just basically comes right out of the Blazer. This one's been equipped with a Hurst shifter, which is a horrible shifter for a rock crawler. But you know, and then it's got the factory column. And then, you know, someone's put an aftermarket stereo in this one, so it has everything from the backup camera, onboard air for the front air locker, and some of these gauges. I have never actually heard of this company until we got our hands on this Runt, and I can't quite get out the name of the company. Hanaline gauges. Anyway, I would say that they are just as good as Autometer all day long. And this is another cool thing. So we all pack our wife or whatever, and all the heater controls are on the passenger side, and it has everything from your AC to high, low, dash, vent, defrost. So super cool that comes with everything. It's got its own heater core, and it just all runs together with the factory components that goes right in. And then, you know, very spacious back seat. It's very cut and dry. It doesn't have harnesses, believe it or not. In the back, it just has lap belts. And in the front, you still are reusing your factory Blazer seat belts, which it wouldn't be too hard to build a bar to go across this pillar here and just put some harnesses in, because that's probably what it truly needs. The cage is very sturdy. It seems very well built. The rock sliders also, I mean, how do you go wrong with square tubing? And then in the rear, this is probably one of the coolest things, and this could be a Richard Tolbert thing. This could be the person that built this thing. I am not sure. So the coolest thing about the spare tire carrier, you can tell here, it has a hub. And that's kind of funny, right? Like, why would it have a hub? So on the inside, dude, this thing has an entire hub assembly, stub shaft and all. I mean, dude, it's a Dana 44 on 37s, and it's locked. So we all know what that life's like. As soon as you hop, snap the U-joint, break the ears off, whatever. This was a super good idea. Whoever thought of this, whether it was Richard or the guy who built this one, I truly think that they were really thinking outside the box on making sure that this thing could get its butt back home or back out of where it was. The other downfalls of this build, and the only thing that I can also tell you that I hate about the Runt, I love packing a ton of tools. Now, this is all removable with a few screws, to where this could all be open when you have the tub off, or the top off of the tub. The issues are, for me, is this bar's in the way if I did take that piece out, and then if I do want to get back here to get my recovery gear or the cooler or some snacks, I can't without unbuttoning everything, unzipping this whole thing, and I can't just open a gate like you can on a Jeep. So for usability, that really sucks. And then their thoughts of coming down low, which I know is to save the fuel tank and a few other things, with this lower, I believe, 1.25" tubing DOM. I probably would have rerouted that differently, and we do plan to change that along with some of the stuff on the front. But other than that, you know, super solid. This one has 20,000 original miles. It fires right up. It gets really good fuel mileage. It travels down the road at 65, 70 like it's just fine. We have taken it on a couple off-road recoveries already. It's done phenomenal. You would think with the fiberglass body that it would take a lot of the weight away from the vehicle and almost hurt it in a sense of it cannot, you know, have the weight to pull somebody out, or that it doesn't have the weight to go plow through some snow or whatever. And so far, man, like it feels extremely comfortable. It doesn't feel super light. It doesn't feel super heavy. Like I said, I'm sure that they put a lot of thought into how this was going to be put together and how it was going to function. Richard, from what I believe, is a very avid off-roader, so he wanted this to be a very functioning vehicle, and across all platforms, from the Bummer to the Runt to the Grunt, all of them that he offered is super cool. And then you got your park brake here, and then like I said, you know, these are all custom built. So I mean, this one's got heated seats. This one's got a trailer brake controller, and the air compressors and things like that. Still has a factory tilt wheel, which for us bigger guys, a tilt wheel is super, super sought after. So to wind up with something straight out of a garage, or you know, if you wanted to spend, I think a fully built Runt, I believe when I looked it all up back in the day, it was like 47 to 52,000, and that was kind of picking and choosing what kind of extras you wanted to add to your platform. So it's still on leaf springs, and so it's a little rough on the trail, not gonna lie. I cut my teeth in the beginning of rock crawling on leaf springs, so I actually don't mind it too bad. I do like a slower pace off-road, so it doesn't hinder me as much as I think it would some of the people. Sixes to a, if you were to figure like an early JK compared to this, definitely this, in my opinion, is a better platform, just due to that it comes with better axles. The only thing that I think that becomes a little bit better with the JK would be the fact that it's a 4-link rear end. The suspension's better. It's going to be a smoother ride. It has the capability of having the back to open like I would like. But other than that, the footprint is going to be super similar. And then you're comparing a V8 to a, you know, the inevitable motor eating monster Pennstar that is never going to live very long. So I think that it's got the right characteristics of what it could have been. I mean, if this thing could have stayed in business into the early 2000s, mid 2000s and later, I think that this could have turned into some crazy awesome off-road application. I'm not going to get into the reasonings on why they don't exist anymore or anything like that. We're going to keep things 100% positive because, I mean, dude, this is cool. You know, unfortunately, if you want to go digging, doing some Googling, you can by all means do whatever you need to necessary. So I would love to get a set of beadlocks for it, but I mean, dude, these are the old Mickey Thompson. You can't get these wheels anymore. We're not going to take this thing to go do what we take the CJ and everything else to do. So it doesn't need to have anything less than 10 PSI. So for what our plans are with it, it's going to stay pretty much the same. Not doing anything drivetrain wise. We might build a badass skid plate for it, which I think it needs. And we'll do some different stuff with the tubing in the front for the bumper, and we'll do some different tubing with some of the stuff in the rear. But other than that, I mean, this thing is pretty bulletproof, and it is, you know, I don't think that it's ever been wheeled like I wheel things. So you look underneath this thing and it is crystal clear. There's no scraping on the frame. There's no rubbing of the leaf spring hangers on rocks, anything like that. So the gentleman that we purchased it from used it more like a daily driver, and he took it up on the mountain on some dirt roads. Didn't really use it to its full potential, and I don't think anyone ever has. So the scariest part is, you know, you do something to this thing and you damage the body and the body kit that's on here, you know, you're SOL. This company doesn't exist anymore. So you smash a fender, or you take a log or a tree stump that comes up through the floor, you know, you're gonna have to get a hold of your local boat repairman that does some pretty good fiberglass job, because there's not an option. You can't buy replacement parts for it. So that also is what makes the price come down some. But I think at some point, you know, these things probably deserve to be in a museum because it was so cool and such a great and outstanding idea at its time. So